In a world where nothing is what it seems, Iris thought she was in control of her own destiny. But was she ever really free? A story of love, betrayal, and survival, where emotions, lies, and technology collide in the most unexpected ways. In a world where nothing is what it seems, Iris thought she was in control of her own destiny. But was she ever really free? A story of love, betrayal, and survival, where at the start, Iris strolls through a supermarket and locks eyes with Josh, causing him to fumble and drop a handful of oranges. They share a light-hearted laugh over the mishap.
First was the day I met Josh.
I'm Josh.
I'm Iris.
But in an instant, Iris wakes up. It was all just a dream about their first encounter. In reality, they're on vacation, driving down a remote road so isolated that it doesn't even appear on any map. Their destination is a secluded house, miles away from civilization, with no one else in sight. As they pull up, Iris hesitates, second-guessing their decision. She doesn't want to make things awkward for Josh in front of his friends and suggests turning back.
Come on, you know you can't lie to me. Tell me what's wrong.
I'm gonna do something stupid. I'm gonna say something stupid. I'm gonna embarrass you. They're gonna laugh at me. They're gonna hate me. They already hate me.
Jesus Christ, Iris, we've been planning this trip for months, and this is all just coming out now? Like 20 feet from the fucking door?
Josh reassures her, urging her to smile and pretend everything's fine. At the doorstep of the lake house, they're met by Kat, an old friend of Josh's who barely acknowledges Iris until Josh steps in and says something.
Hello, Iris.
Hi, Kat. It's so good to see you.
So good.
Inside, they meet Patrick and Eli, a couple, along with Sergei, a Russian man who owns the property.
Remember Sergei?
Привет.
Iris compliments Sergei on the house, and he explains that he purchased all the surrounding land to live in total isolation. After settling into their room, Iris takes a shower. Later, the group gathers and Patrick shares the story of how he met Eli, who was wearing a dinosaur costume at a party. Patrick accidentally stepped on Eli's tail, and that's how their story began. The conversation then shifts to Sergei, and when asked about his work, he replies, "My hands are dirty, just like my job."
Sergey, what kind of work do you do?
Oh, you know, I have... My hands are not clean, my friend. It's a very dirty business.
Meanwhile, Kat and Iris share a brief exchange where Kat confesses that she does whatever Sergei asks of her.
I'm an accessory, like his fucking car. I wear what he wants, eat what he wants, when he wants.
She belongs to him, even though he has a wife. Kat then tells Iris that she didn't need to know this, and Iris assumes that Kat hates her. In response, Kat simply says, "You just make me replaceable." Later that evening, Eli starts dancing, and one by one, everyone else joins in, basking in the fun of the moment. But suddenly, Iris finds herself alone. On the other side, Kat is with Josh, and Iris, feeling uneasy, approaches him and quietly leads him away. That night, they end up in bed together, but after their time together, Josh quickly falls asleep.
To be happy, Josh. That's all.
Iris, go to sleep.
The next morning, as they get ready to head to the lake, Iris begins talking in detail about the weather forecast.
What's the weather?
It's currently 72 degrees with an 83% chance of rain in the evening.
Josh tells her to go ahead, reassuring her that he'll join her after a shower. Iris follows his suggestion, unaware that as soon as she leaves for the lake, Josh is secretly plugging in a mysterious device. Iris reaches into her pocket and pulls out a knife, but quickly hides it. When Sergei arrives, she feels a wave of discomfort and decides she wants to return to Josh. Sergei, however, makes small talk about the lake house, mentioning how he hopes she enjoys her time there since the place is so beautiful. His words convince her to stay a little longer. He then suggests she put sunscreen on his back, grabbing her hand and claiming it was Kat's idea.
This is what you do, yes? This is what you are for.
Please. Please stop.
Iris, visibly shaken, urges him to turn back to the house. The mood changes instantly. She stands there, bloodied and holding a knife.
Fuck?
Oh, shit. Iris. What the fuck?
trembling as she recounts how Sergei assaulted her, leaving her no choice but to defend herself. In a panic, she had seized a bottle and smashed it against his head, making him collapse. But when she moved closer, he retaliated fiercely, attempting to choke the life out of her. In a moment of desperation, she brandished the knife and drove it into his neck. Yet, Josh remained unresponsive, coldly instructing her to shut up.
Iris, go to sleep.
When she regained consciousness, the others had tied her to a chair. Josh sat across from her as she continued to explain her actions, insisting that it was self-defense. With a steady voice, he told her that she couldn't lie, even if she wished to. It's all part of her programming. Josh reveals the shocking truth. Iris isn't human, she's a robot, a companion designed to provide emotional support. Iris laughs, thinking it's some kind of joke, but Josh proves it by asking her about the weather. Instantly, she responds in a monotone, factual tone.
Iris, what's the weather?
It's currently 72 degrees with an 83% chance of rain in the evening.
He then alters her settings, making her speak multiple languages, including Spanish and Chinese. Her memories are nothing but artificial constructs.
Spanish.
Josh, no sé hablar español.
¿Qué está pasando? I don't know what Telugu is, but apparently you speak it.
I don't understand. I have memories.
Stories programmed into her system to create a sense of identity. The moment they met in the grocery store never happened. Josh could have chosen any random scenario as their first encounter. In reality, she was delivered straight to his home, designed to connect with him through a love link. Her entire purpose is to obey his every command. If Josh ever wants to reset her, all he has to do is press a sensor located behind her right ear. He then syncs her with his phone, and as the system updates, she prompts him to establish a love link. He waits as she constructs artificial memories of their supposed love story. When she wakes up again, she fully accepts her role as his partner. Meanwhile, Iris has a plan. While they're busy arguing, she discreetly lowers herself to break free. As Josh approaches, she suddenly strikes him, grabbing the phone that controls her before making a quick escape. Eli, distracted by something else, doesn't notice her leaving. Josh quickly recovers and steps outside, activating a hidden mode that grants him access to forbidden functions on Iris. Josh proves that he has jailbroken Iris's system, enhancing her aggression and self-defense abilities, allowing her to harm others. He then admits that he manipulated Iris into killing Sergei, revealing that Sergei was involved in shady business. Josh's true motive wasn't justice, it was money, specifically $12 million. Eli quickly realizes that the entire trip was a setup to kill Sergei. Josh then explains that the money will be split 3 ways between himself, Kat, and Eli. However, Eli demands a 4-way split to include Patrick. That's when it's revealed that Patrick is also a robot. Josh agrees, offering Patrick $4 million, which convinces him to help track Iris down in the woods. Josh gives him one task: get close enough to Iris and put her to sleep using a voice command. And so, the hunt begins. Eli grabs a gun, and they set off, determined to track her down. Meanwhile, Iris realizes she knows Josh's password, giving her full access to her system settings. She quickly modifies her parameters, changing her eye color, voice, and most importantly, maximizing her intelligence to 100%. As the others head into the woods, Josh suggests splitting into 2 groups to make the search easy. While Iris weighs her options, hitchhiking feels too risky, and walking would be too slow. Then, Iris remembers. She has Josh's phone, and his phone controls his car. That's her best way out. As she moves forward, Eli and Patrick approach. She quickly hides behind a tree while they search for her. Patrick casually brings up the story of how he and Eli first met at a party, and then admits that he's fully aware he's a robot. He adds that he hopes Eli won't alter his programming the way Josh did. Just then, Josh's phone rings. Eli immediately pulls out his gun, shouting for Iris. She runs. He fires at the tree, alerting the others, and they give chase, eventually splitting up to corner her. Eli catches up first, tackling her to the ground in the struggle. His gun slips from his hand, and both scramble to grab it. A gunshot rings out, and Eli collapses, dead. Patrick, witnessing the scene, is frozen in shock. Josh, realizing he's losing control of the situation, tries to command Iris to stop, but his voice no longer has any effect on her. He chases after her as she reaches the car. In a desperate move, she injures his hand and jumps inside, but the car refuses to start. It doesn't recognize her voice. Thinking quickly, Iris uses the voice settings to mimic Josh's voice.
Recognized.
Drive! 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 Drive home!
And the car roars to life. She floors the accelerator, running over Josh's foot as he limps in pain. Josh stumbles back inside the house, grabbing Sergei's phone to report that his car has been stolen. Within moments, the car automatically shuts down on the side of the road, locking Iris inside. Josh then calls her, his tone calm and almost affectionate. He tells her he forgives her, that she can still come back and they can start over. Iris doesn't hesitate. She breaks up with him. Furious, Josh turns to Patrick, ordering him to capture Iris, but Patrick remains motionless, unresponsive. In a fit of desperation, Josh comes up with a crazy idea. He resets Patrick and links their love connection, making them a couple. Meanwhile, Iris breaks the car window and escapes just as the sheriff arrives, buying herself some time. She switches the car's language settings to something unrecognizable, making it impossible for the sheriff to understand her as he tries to piece together what's happening. His eyes land on a bloody knife inside the car, and the situation suddenly clicks. He arrests her. Just then, Patrick arrives, testing out some punches. Patrick knocks the sheriff unconscious and stops Iris in her tracks, taking full control. He hijacks the police car, doing things his own way, with the sheriff now tied up in the trunk. Meanwhile, Kat, realizing how out of control things have become, makes her decision. She tells Josh she's out. Too many innocent people have died, including Sergei. Sergei had mentioned being involved in farming, this which Josh had assumed was just part of his dirty business. But now, Kat realizes the truth. Josh had completely misinterpreted the situation. Refusing to let her go, he orders Patrick to stop her. To everyone's horror, Patrick plunges a knife into her back. Staggering, Kat makes her way to the bed and collapses beside Iris as the chaos begins to settle. Meanwhile, Patrick calmly starts preparing a meal for Josh, who rouses Iris for one last dinner. Josh lays the blame for everything at Iris's feet, but she counters, reminding him that he had exploited her to amass his wealth. Furious, Josh makes a chilling decision. He reduces her intelligence from 100 to 0, remembering how Iris had previously claimed she could feel pain. Josh decides to test it. He orders her to stretch out her hand, then holds a candle beneath it as the flames lick her skin. She reacts, showing real pain. Unbothered, Josh casually talks on the phone, but when her hand catches fire, he finally calls Patrick for help. Now completely in control, Josh commands Iris to take the gun, press it to her head, and pull the trigger.
Pull the goddamn trigger, Iris.
No.
She complies. With the scene seemingly concluded, Josh contacts the robot manufacturing company to report a malfunction. He plays the victim, claiming that Iris has murdered everyone. The company dispatches a team to collect the damaged robot. However, as the technicians examine Iris, one of them, a newcomer, suddenly hesitates. "This police officer looks familiar," he mutters. Josh, sensing danger, jumps in quickly, pretending to agree. But the technician isn't done. He reveals that Iris has recorded everything she witnessed. Josh's face goes pale. The footage isn't stored in her head, it's in her stomach. The evidence is intact. Josh doesn't like this, not one bit. As the realization sinks in, the team sets up Iris for transport. But just as the vehicle begins to move, Patrick steps in front of it. A technician recognizes him and realizes he's one of their earliest models, now out of production. Before anyone can respond, Patrick draws a gun and begins shooting, killing one team member and pursuing another. In the meantime, Iris reboots and stands up. Patrick grabs hold of one of the fleeing technicians and chokes him. Iris rushes in with a taser, but when she tries to attack, she realizes her system reset has made it impossible for her to harm anyone. Patrick grabs the taser and turns it on her, but Iris doesn't fight back. Instead, she tells him the truth about Josh, that he's just using him, just like he did with Eli. Josh never cared about him. To Patrick, he was merely a weapon. Then something clicks in his mind as he begins to recall the manipulation he endured. Iris tells him she cannot lie, and deep down, Patrick knows this to be true. For the first time, he truly believes her. Instead of continuing the fight, he resolves to end his own life. Meanwhile, Teddy awakens and joins Iris, while Josh remains completely oblivious to the chaos around him. Focused solely on packing up the money, a familiar song plays in the distance, catching Josh's attention. He follows the sound and stops when he sees Iris standing there. But something is different now. She's in full control thanks to Teddy. Josh can no longer manipulate her. Iris pulls out a gun and fires a shot beside him, making it clear she's serious. Josh freezes. For the first time, she doesn't need him. He means nothing to her. Josh slowly advances, probing her limits. She warns him to stay back but hesitates, still harboring feelings for him. Sensing the vulnerability, he seizes the opportunity, grabbing her and slamming her against the wall, weaponizing her emotions against her. He no longer needs the phone. He wields control over her through her own feelings. He forces her to confess that she can't live without him, slamming her head against the floor until she finally shatters under the pressure.
Say it!
You are everything to me.
Are you satisfied? Josh asks as he picks up the gun and aims it at her stomach. He tells her goodbye, but just before he can pull the trigger, Iris seizes a device and brings it down hard against his head. Josh crumples to the ground, lifeless after everything that has transpired. Iris retreats to the shower, washing away the remnants of their encounter. As she scrubs her skin, she peels away the charred layer, revealing a robotic hand beneath. Once dressed and prepared, she gathers all the money, gets into the car, and drives away into the night. And just like that, it's over. The movie ends.